In this channel, I've created and published numerous shocking stories, from a man who used his girlfriend for money ritual, to blessing Karami, who entered a taxi and never came out alive, and even a doctor who stole his patient's kidney. However, none of them quite compare to this, and I guarantee this story will send some chill down your spine. It's about this man in Tanzania who has chosen to sleep in a coffin for the rest of his life. Strange, isn't it? We all know that caskets are only used for the dead, but this man has purchased one for himself and sleeping in it despite being alive. According to him, he sleeps in a coffin because he finds it interesting and it makes him feel safe. This is truly strange if you ask me. This man claims that sleeping in a coffin helps him relax and feel comfortable. I've not seen a man like this. In fact, this man has challenged the traditional way of sleeping, causing surprise and confusion among many in Tanzania. This man's name is Hamsi. He lives in Dar es Salaam, the largest city and financial hub of Tanzania. He lived alone, no wife or children to call his own. The only family he has all deserted him because of his wired beliefs. This man believes that he possessed extraordinary powers, which he inherited from his parents, which led him to follow certain daily rituals and beliefs. According to him, his choice of sleeping in a coffin wasn't about seeking riches. He already had numerous houses and possessions. But from our sources, we gathered that it was when he started sleeping in coffins that he started swimming in wealth. We'll find out later. But for him, there were deeper meanings in everyday objects. For instance, while others might see a simple rod he always holds and walks around with, Hamsi saw it as representing someone who supported him daily. Strange, isn't it? According to him, people often wonder why he chose not to marry, despite having the means to support a family. But who would accept to marry a man who sleeps in a coffin? He narrated how he woke up one day and decided to start a family. He met this pretty lady who was willing to be his wife. Both were happy, and it looked like a match in heaven. They started dating, until he brought her home and mentioned to her how he sleep in a coffin, and that if they got married, she'd need one coffin too. That was the moment she realized that Hamsi is not an ordinary man. For goodness sake, how would someone be alive and sleep in a casket? Well, Miss Pretty ran for her dear life. But why is he doing all this? Hamsi believes that sleeping in a coffin offers protection, as the dead cannot be harmed. For him, it symbolizes a fresh start, free from life's struggles. Strange, isn't it? Hamsi claims when he sleeps inside the coffin, he finds comfort and a sense of renewal. When asked, Hamsi says he sees it as a chance for a fresh start. To him, it's similar to death, where he can leave behind the world's sufferings and begin every day on a fresh start. He says sleeping in a coffin is just like leaving everything in this world behind and ready to move on into the afterlife with ease. This is totally strange if you ask me. When someone wants to see Hamsi, if he's in the coffin, they must knock on the coffin 6 times, and he will have to wake up after 5 minutes. No one is allowed to enter his room except for himself and his housemate. All his friends didn't know this until a neighbor mentioned it, which made him to lose many friends because they all feared he was practicing some kind of witchcraft. Hamsi sees everything he does as a means to live a good life. Another thing he mentioned is the ease of immediate burial in case of a tragic death. According to him, death is inevitable and his burial should not be a burden to anyone. One other thing with Hamsi is that he avoids journalists maybe for privacy's sake, but if any reporter requests an interview, he must seek permission from elders, and if they grant permission, he will warmly accept and grant the interview. Back to his room. There's a bed, but he'll never sleep on it. Instead, he step over it to get into his coffin. He keep the bed so that the coffin isn't directly on the floor, which might imply someone is dead. According to Hamsi, everyone should plan their life according to their goals and dreams, and we shouldn't judge others for their choices and how they decide to live their life. Talking with journalist, Hamsi expressed himself, and that he find peace sleeping in a coffin, and he'd rather die than not sleep in it because life would lose its meaning for him. Hamsi warned, and that he knows where he comes from, and no one should interfere in someone else's life. According to him, he eat well, own properties, run businesses, and even help others. His friend Shard could not believe what Hamsi got himself into, and any attempt to ask Hamsi what he was doing is always turned down, or at best he would change the topic. But when he finally discovered the truth, he had to respect Hamsi's choice, even if it's strange. His sister Hadija was also interviewed, and according to her, it was frightening, and that she couldn't believe her brother sleeps in a coffin. But after asking him about it, she had to distance myself from him. No one was prevailing over him to stop. Hami always insisted that there was nothing wrong with his actions and urged everyone not to make a big deal out of it. Everyone became silent. Here is the twist to this story. We are told that Hami became wealthy within a few days. Like he became incredibly wealthy, which caused a lot of confusion. And he lives with only one person, his housemaid, who assists him with cooking and other household chores. It appears that no one besides the maid truly understands him, as the rest are simply bewildered. The pastor in the local community too spoke on the issues, stressing that many in this world believe in false things, but we should only worship God, and that some young people try to get rich quickly, but it usually leads to regret. According to him, they can be misled by evil spirits and start following them, and that it's surprising that a man thinks sleeping in a coffin will bring him a good life. He also advised young men to work hard in life, even if it means enduring pain, and also to pray earnestly. He believed that by doing so, they will succeed in life. For Hami, everything has conditions. For example, when moving to a new place, others can touch and carry his belongings, except for his coffin, which only the elders can lift. I'm still wondering who the elders are. In his words, "The day I bought a coffin and brought it home, people thought I had lost someone. After confirming that wasn't the case, they almost started arguing with me and questioning my sanity. I had to let everyone know that I was confident in my decisions, despite the various comments from people. I'm content with my life, but my only challenge is finding a woman who will accept to be my wife." Hamsi adds that his coffin is used for healing people, and he's already helped many who have come to him. How can a casket heal someone? This can only happen in Namibia, I guess. All he does is let them sleep inside and wake up the next morning without any problems. We are told that he mainly offers this service to the sick, and he believes it works. In his last words, "I own a big house like a temple, and there's an even larger one in Bamu as well as another in the ocean. I'll take you there and give you a tour, but first, we need to become friends." Guys, life is full of mysteries, reminding us to keep exploring and be more careful. Hami's story is just one example of the world's endless wonders. Plato once said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." Thank you for watching. I'm Charles, and this is True Crime Stories. Don't forget to subscribe.